we fully expect that James continues to progress the way that he has, that he'll be available to us tomorrow night. Carolina is obviously a tremendous program. They're having a great season. And when you watch them play on film, knowing how Roy coaches, knowing how they play, and knowing what kind of season they had last year, they look even better to me right now. And they're all a little bit older. They're a little bit smarter. They're a little bit more athletic. They're a little bit better skilled. You know, all the things that happen when you get an experienced team. And they've added some new guys to what they do, but they're playing at a really, really high level. And Joel Berry's playing at an extremely high level. So we're going to have seen, obviously, a great point guard in Frank Mason, and now we're getting ready to see another one. And not to mention what they have on the front line with Kennedy Meeks and Hicks and Bradley, and Justin Jackson is playing at a very high level. He's stronger than what I remember from last year. His first step, I'm not sure, I haven't seen everybody play by any stretch of the imagination this year, but I haven't seen a better first step on anybody. And their group, especially their starting five, is playing at an incredible level. So it's going to be, I don't want to call it a test. I mean, it's going to be a great challenge for us to have the maturity to play a game like this, to not get caught up in the hype and the pageantry of the game, but to get caught up in the execution and the edge that you have to have in a game like this. And we have to play extremely smart. We've got to take care of the ball. I mean, there's a lot of things that this game will come down to that are huge factors for both teams, that are constants in any big game. But the fact of the turnover battle and the rebounding battle and those things will be really, really huge in this game. So go ahead.
Rebounding in particular, I mean, I think you're two of the top teams in the country in offensive rebounding percentage. What do they do well? I know they've got a ton of size, but what do they do well to really?
They're there every time. I mean, they're there every time. There's the thing about North Carolina is there's no deviating from what they do. They've got all players that can make plays. I mean, so they can find ways to score, but they're going to have the weak side board covered every time. Not 90% of the time, every time. They're going to go through the paint the majority of the time, whether it's the post up or the drive. They're going to get the ball up the court quickly. They're going to defensive rebound. Their guards are going to rebound. So it's just the repetition and the consistency of doing it time and time and time again. And you've just got to make sure that you're there. And then you throw in the fact that they have so much talent and so much length and size and quickness doing it, and it makes it that much better. But that's the biggest thing I see.
Are your guys kind of out there looking for revenge for what happened in March?
Oh, I don't know if revenge is anything we talk about. I don't think that would be relevant, for the team. I think the bottom line is we want to play better than what we played in that game. The guys that played in it and the new guys have got to step into it. It's two different teams, and we're a lot younger, and in my mind, they're even better. So what we've got to do is we've got to be able to, like I said, we've got to have the right kind of edge, but we've got to play very smart. We can't get into a turnover game with them. And we can't lose the rebounding battle with them that way if we're going to have a chance to win the game. But we've got to execute. We've got to execute. We don't need to try the old saying of reinvent the wheel. We don't need to do that. We need to make sure we're playing smart. We're playing solid. We're not trying to make things that aren't there because we're not good enough to do that. We're not good enough to try to come out and create things. Most teams aren't. We're certainly not when it comes to trying to create things that aren't there. Just trust the next pass. Get to the right spots, have a sense of urgency on how they're going to run that break, and stay true to what our game plan is.
Right. How much of a balance is required to both feed off the energy, the environment, which I'm sure will be pretty rocking tomorrow, but also not lose your mind on the stage?
Well, it's going to be different. I mean, it'll be completely different. It'll be the first time that these guys this season as a team have played in an environment like this, and it'll be the first time for the young guys. So my greatest fear is keeping it simple. I mean, that's the and dealing with the pressure of their defense, not the pressure of how big our crowd is. We need our crowd. I mean, we need our crowd to really be at that extreme high level like they are, and especially in a game like this. But we're not going to be in a situation where we're playing to the crowd. We need to play for each other in the sense of how simple can we make it. And we're coming off a game where we did a lot of, we dealt with the pressure, got better with it, but we made simple plays. Now we're playing a different team, obviously. But we've got to stay with that mindset of simplicity is the whole key for us.
You talked about it a little bit on the show last night, but what has James been able to do? You talked about being in the weight room. I think you said last night he went through the walkthrough.
He's doing more. Yeah, he's healing. He's healing. So, I mean, he's doing a little bit more every day. We didn't practice yesterday. We worked him out a little bit, and then he was better today. So hopefully he'll stay on top of that. And I mean, I'm not saying it's 100%, but I mean, if he stays on the track that he's on right now, I think he's going to play. So I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to play the competitive game with Willie or won't he. I mean, our plan is that he will, but we got to wait and see how he is tomorrow too.
You said you thought they might be better than last March. What makes you?
They're older. They're older. I think you can see it. You can see it in the way they play. They're older. They're playing a simple game, and I say that with all great respect. They're playing exactly the way that he wants them to play, and I would think. I mean, just looking at it from the outside, and I'm sure he might disagree, but they've got the balance of the inside outside, and they're so consistent with the constants. Transition D, transition offense, ball reversal, rebounding. You know, they get it inside. So their skills are just better. I mean, they've had another year under their belt. They played 40 games, played for the national championship. And it's obvious that no complacency set into them in the summertime. I mean, they worked. I mean, I'm not there, obviously, but I mean, there's no question that they did. And Barry's taken his game to a whole other level. There's no question about it. And Jackson has taken his to another level. And I think Meeks and Hicks have. And Kenny Williams has stepped in for a guy that didn't do an awful lot last year and is doing quite a bit more this year. Nate Britt is playing like a senior. So, and Tony Bradley is probably leading them in rim runs. And so they've got a group of guys that are obvious. They know what Roy wants done, and they're experienced enough to do it. And when they're not doing it as well, they're experienced enough to go back and get it. You know, get it back to base. And I think that's a sign of a very mature team. And I don't know if they're better, if they're not. They just look older and more experienced to me, you know, when you watch them on film. Because certainly we saw a lot of them last year, not only in person, but on video. And they missed Page, they missed Johnson, but they really have, you don't see any slack being left there with them. He's a phenomenal coach. I mean, he's every bit a Hall of Famer as anybody that's in his league, in any league, you know, and he's done it time and time again, and he's got a system that's tried and true, and he's got some experienced guys that know how to reel in the young guys when they're not maybe doing it the way that he wants it completely done. So I think, and that's why those guys are in minutes, and that's why Tony Bradley's playing at such a good rate for them, I think. So we're going to have to play really, really well. I mean, that's obvious.
Tom, how concerning is North Carolina's three-point shooting? Last year they shot out of this world. I know it's not the same team, but they're shooting about 40% again. They got obviously the strong inside game. How concerning is that aspect of it?
Anytime you're giving a team open threes, it's concerning. So we've got to make sure that we just got to stay true to what we need to do defensively and do our very best with that. And not try to, we can't be in an overhelp situation, but we can't do that against anybody. We've got to contain the dribble better. We've got to really understand what we want to do defensively in the half court, not just what we want to do in transition. They can get down the court and make some transition threes, so we've got to get back and take that away the best that we can. And no matter what we're doing defensively, we've got to be committed. 5 guys have got to be doing it. And the greatest fear sometimes with any team, and even last year's team did this summit, once we figured out that all 5 guys were connected defensively, we got a lot better. And we're not there yet. I mean, you guys have seen it. We're not there yet. So, I mean, tomorrow we've got to really be locked in to not gambling, not risk-taking. We've got to be aggressive, but we can't be a chance-taking defense. And a lot of it's going to come down to how that game is officiated in the paint, right? We've got to make sure that we're not putting ourselves in a foul situation as we continue to figure out in the game how the game is going to be called. And that's a part of the process, too, when you're in November and December. How will that particular game be called, and can you adjust to it?
Kind of a little off topic, but what do you think of Schwarber being here, just being down
I think it's great. We planned this since mid-July, and I reached out to him in mid-July when he was going through his rehab, and just talking to him, telling him, different things. I said, it would be really great if he came back. I said, why don't we do this game and we'll make you honorary captain? And he's finding the time and the way to do it. And I think it's going to be fantastic. The baseball staff will be here. Tracy Smith is coming in, but he was already coming in before this. And there'll be a lot of people here, obviously the 81 team, but I think there'll be a couple incredible ovations tomorrow night. The 81 team, and certainly when Kyle Schwarber gets introduced before the game, and deservedly so. And deservedly so.
About this honorary captain do anything, or what is he?
He gets tickets. He's coming to practice. Gets to hang out. Gets his expenses paid. I don't know if I think we do for him. Yeah, we'll have a gift for him or two. So trade for some autographs.
Coach, North Carolina grabs nearly 47% of available offensive rebounds. Just what makes them so effective on the offensive glass?
They go every time. They go every time, and they cover the weak side board every time. And if we had clips to show our guys where they don't, we'd show them. But we haven't found any in the 7 games that they've played. I mean, they're there every time. And we've got to make sure that we're there too, right? So it's the weak side board, it's the guard rebounding, it's the follow-ups, because they're pretty quick-footed. I think, and that's what makes them different. I think Meeks looks much more athletic this year. Hicks is a very good athlete. Bradley is big and wide and long and can run and jump. And Jackson is, he was always a great athlete, but the strength that I think I don't know his measurements, what he's gained strength-wise, but the first step is it's crazy. I mean, it really is. I mean, I don't have a better word. I mean, he's got a great first step. And so when he gets, not only on the dribble, but when he gets a chance to do that to the boards, then that puts you behind too. So we got to be unbelievably good on the backboards with our blocking out. And we got offensive rebound ourselves.
Coach, I know you're incredibly focused on tomorrow, but Friday you're going up against a former player of yours, John Harris. What does that mean to you, coaching up against?
Well, I'll cover John. Yeah, I love John Harris. John was on my first 3 teams at Marquette. John was the original driving, ball handling 4 or 5 man for us. We won games because of the way that he played, and the way that he could break pressure, and the way that he could find people, and the way that he could spread out in the post. And he was a great teammate. And he grew to be just a fantastic leader for us. That's one reason I hired him. And he was basically, it wasn't that title at the time, but he would have been like a graduate manager on our Final Four team. And been proud of him every step that he's taken, whether it was going on to Green Bay, Missouri State, Tennessee, the whole thing. I mean, he is, and that one he had last night is fantastic. I haven't watched it yet, but only because it's a former player would I jump ahead like that. But we're going to have to really be good that night. I mean, they went in and they beat Hawaii, and then they beat Grand Canyon. They had another close game that I looked at and said, man, they almost had that. So he's done a very good job. He's got a great presence about him. He's got a great spirit about him, a great family man, and has always been a driven guy. And there's no plus side to playing a former player or a former colleague. There's no plus side to that. I mean, sometimes it just can't be helped. But the good side is that he's really doing a great job, and I'm proud of him for that.
Next question.
Coach, how is OG's conditioning now, and is he fully over the stomach
I
illness?
don't think he's over it now. I think he's got to play better, and I don't think he's at that point yet. So I think it really knocked him out last week, to be honest with you. And so we'll just have to see. Right? I mean, we're not a completely healthy team by any stretch. So we've just got to take it, the old adage of day by day, and hopefully they're better every day, and he's in the same boat.
Just kind of a technical question, but when a guy has something like that, I mean, how much does he lose? Maybe
Who
not just
doesn't?
like a stomach illness or something like that mid-season, not just in terms of obviously like time lost, but conditioning and those kinds of things. How long does he usually
Well,
take?
it varies. I'll go back to the year we were #1, and Cody got sick, lost like 11 pounds, missed a game, I believe. Did he, J.D.?
This game, he missed the secret scrimmage.
Okay, well, whatever. All right, and so he had lost. Maybe he had still, when we go into the Barclays, right, and we win both games, but he wasn't even close to full strength, and we just got absolutely pillaged. Like he's not doing this, he's not doing that. He's not this, he's not that. He ended up having a pretty good year. I mean, he lost. He was still playing in those games with a loss of like 9 pounds. from what he'd had the previous Wednesday. So I think everybody's different. You know, I don't know if you can, if you can quantify any one thing, but all we've got to do is just try to get those guys through it the best that we can, and try to stay focused on what they can do, not what they can't do. Pump them up where you can, and keep moving, and then know what it is inside. Like that year with Cody, nobody knew on the outside how sick he was. And it was almost like we didn't get any credit for winning those games because Cody didn't do this, Cody didn't do that. Well, you know, some lesser athletes and competitors might not even play in those games, right? So I just use that as an example that everybody's different. But he played the other day, he came back, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.